Ilia Topuria is currently the best striker in the UFC, but everything about his striking is backwards. He started his career specializing in grappling and won his first 7 fights by submission. So what's so special about his striking that could turn a grappler into a knockout artist? The answer isn't even his power. It's in a technique that most fighters are completely ignoring.
You can be very powerful, very fast, but if you don't have that fight IQ,
it starts with a stance that MMA coaches say would not work. He fights in a boxing style base known as the 60-40. This is a bladed stance with 60% of his weight in his rear leg, which puts his body in a more defensive position. It moves his head further away from the opponent, tucks his chin behind an elevated lead shoulder, and keeps his right arm loaded for powerful counters. Now this plays in directly into how he sets up his attacks, but we'll get more into that later on. His guard is positioned to defend straight punches with his rear thumb on his nose and an active lead hand. And because punches are his primary weapon, he has a wide base with his knees bent to generate power. And this is why everyone says his stance is wrong.
I don't care about that, right?
You don't care?
No, I don't care.
With a wide bladed base, he doesn't really have a way to defend against leg kicks. But Ilia knows this, so he does a few things to stop his opponents from kicking in the first place. And that ties directly into how he closes distance. Ilia has 2 main ways of getting close to his opponent. The first is the jab. And like any fighter with a good jab, he's always throwing in feints as well. But because he's usually the shorter fighter, he mixes it in with the second way to close distance, and that's head movement and level changes. Now, even though both of these tactics get Ilia closer to the opponent, his goal isn't to get close and throw long combinations like most people think. It's actually to make the opponent attack.
I had to let him throw me all the punches, roll his right hand, and then start with my combinations.
This is the Panther fighting style, also known as pressure counterpunching. We actually teach this exact style in our online academy, and if you're not noticeably better after training with us for just 8 weeks, then it's completely free. The link's in the description. But how does this style lead to knockouts? This is what everyone gets wrong about knockout artists. They think it has to do with power, but they're mainly just good counterpunchers. Tank Davis, Conor McGregor, even Mike Tyson. All their top knockouts come from making their opponents miss and hitting them when they don't expect it. Ilia does the same thing. Fighting him, you have 3 choices and all of them lead to the same result. Option 1 is to keep moving away, which is what Volk and Max Holloway were having success with at first, but Ilia is patient and he keeps pressing forward because they have to attack eventually. And he'll also try to slow them down by throwing calf kicks as well. Option 2, they could kick him, which is an area Ilia is kind of weak in defending. He doesn't have a counter for body kicks or teeps. He'll either try to back up or just block with his arms. But if the opponent tries to low kick, he won't block it at all. He takes advantage of the opponent being on one leg and closes the distance with punches. And this leaves the last option, which is where Ilia is the most dangerous. And that's when the opponent tries to punch him. To counter the punches, Ilia will do the same 2 moves every time. The first and most common is he'll slip his head over his lead knee while throwing his rear overhand. And this is crazy powerful because not only is the rear overhand the strongest punch you can throw, but it's time to catch the opponent moving into it, and that doubles the impact. The second counter he does against punches, he'll slip his head towards his back leg and then still throw the rear overhand. But even though these are powerful counters, he still has another trick that he uses to guarantee his punches actually land, and this is called guard manipulation. You see here, he throws a slapping lead hook, not to cause damage, but to grab his opponent's hand and pull it down. This creates a path to land his rear punch. And this isn't just a one-time thing. Anytime Ilia can get his lead hand on his opponent's guard, he'll try to pull it down and throw his power shot. Now, as you see, he used this to drop Max Holloway, but he also used this same technique to knock out Charles Oliveira. Another key detail that is usually misunderstood is when he says
Long combinations all the time. In MMA, no one works the long combinations, no one. They always used to do 1 2 1 2 3, but no one does 1 2 3 3 4 5 6.
There's a time and a place for this. He doesn't just close distance and start throwing long combinations. He does this when the opponent is already out of position. So the question is, how would you beat this style? Comment below what you guys think.